friends Ian, Ileana, and welcome into the show, everybody. Hope you all enjoy it. Today we're going to be talking about food stamps, and we've been talking about this morning. We ranted and raved about it for a little while. We're going to talk about it a little longer. All right, Ian. So, how hard has it been for you to get on food stamps?
I was on food stamps for a while, but can you hear me?
A little bit.
All right, I'll try and hold it then. All right, I was on food stamps for a while. Unfortunately, with my PTSD and the amount of intimacy that it takes to get food stamps, I just said it would be better for me to just eat less because I didn't want to deal with the hassle. I didn't want to be dehumanized waiting
Thank you.
in line for food like I live in Russia. Because that's what it would take. Even though they have online options, it's you have to get on the phone with them, you have to do all this paperwork. And all I can say is, I am an abused veteran. I don't want food stamps, I want food. I
Yeah,
want
I
to
just want food.
grow my own food. There is a difference. After what I've been through with the American government and just random crazy people in this state, I want to be alone and grow my own food. I keep talking about Proposition 65 here in California, where if you're on Amazon and you try and purchase food, they have to inform you that food is contaminated, and that's why it's so damn cheap.
And you see, that's part of what I'm getting at, guys. For all of my viewers, I know right now we only got two in here, but Raymond, thank you for showing up. My Jinjin should be here shortly. But guys, we're facing a problem. What's up, Louise? We're facing a problem. This is going to cause civil unrest. If he takes away food stamps, it's going to cause a lot of civil problems.
Say
You
his
know,
name.
I, huh?
Say his name. He
There
is
you
not
are,
Voldemort. Say his name.
Trump.
Thank you.
Yeah, Trump's taking it away. Romania is here again. Nice. Hello there, Andre. How you doing? We're talking about American problems right now. We're facing a food stamp crisis. Um, I was going to get $155 a month. Now they dropped me down $20, which I can handle $20. It's down to 133, so a little bit over $20. But guys, they were originally, until I threw a fit today at the food stamp office, they were only going to give me $70 a month to survive on that. Yeah, $70, man. I'm like, really? I can't. That'll buy my breakfast for a month. That's about it. Guys, and I had to throw a huge, what we like to call Texas-sized wildlife fit in order to get what I want. And I hate doing that. I hate making myself look like a jerk. But we had to do it. Thank you very much, Andre. But we had to do it, guys.
That
We had to go crazy.
never
I had to
apologize
let my
for
sister.
what you need.
It's weak. It's unbearable. Guys. These people, they're more worried about the rich getting richer. They're not worried about veterans. They're not worried about the homeless. They're not worried about the people of the country. They're worried about what they're going to make. They're worried about who's going to profit off of this. And it's not us as the American people. And my friend Ileana, or Ian, I almost called you just Ileana.
That's my
My friend,
dog's name. She's half of me, so technically it's our name.
so her name is Ileana. Now I
Yeah,
know what to
she's
say
the
when I see it.
Ileana of Ian Ileana. The
I
X
love
is
the name
actually a
Aliana.
cross in Japanese. The X is a cross in Japanese, so it means
Oh,
and.
thank you, Louise. I'm doing great. How are you doing today, my friend? Talking
I
about you, bro.
I am disheartened that you're struggling with this. Unfortunately, I think I'm on the other side, even though it doesn't really help me, and I have to tell you why.
Go ahead.
I support Trump in what he's doing. It seems as if for the first time we have a president who's dismantling things for a reason. He has his own reasons. I'm going to tell you the reasons why it's a good thing. It's a good thing because you shouldn't get your food from food stamps. You should get your food from your neighbors. You should get your
Thank
food from farms that you could trust, that you could go to them and ask questions. When I keep talking about that Proposition 65, I am complaining about Amazon not going that extra step and say, if they're selling you contaminated food, why don't they ask the suppliers to give them uncontaminated food? Why don't they do that? Because if you're on food stamps and you're going to these stores, you are most likely buying contaminated food or food that is completely unhealthy for you. And
Oh
what
yeah.
you need to do is forge some relationships with local suppliers. California is big on its farming. I need to personally start talking to some of these farmers and ask them, could you sell me your eggs directly, wholesale? Because I don't want to go to a supermarket. I want you to deliver it to me 100%. Because going through these middlemen, going through all these vendors and things like that, you don't ask any questions. You just say, "Well, it looks like food. It's in a food place. I guess it's food." That is not good enough. This is America. We need to have standards. And the reason why I retweeted on Blue Sky that Europe is beginning to boycott American products. I did it because I support President Trump in his tariffs and in his food stamps thing. Yes, get people off of food stamps, even you. And I know
Yeah.
you're starving right now, but I would rather see you eat healthy food. I would rather see you speak to your fellow farmers and tell them that you are a customer and that you deserve to have farm fresh food. You need to eat fruits, you need to eat vegetables, and you need to get them from American people. And that's the same exact thing in England, that's the same exact thing in France. Why in the world, no offense to Funyuns, or Doritos or something like that. If you have a little paycheck to yourself and you're spending it on American Doritos, you're not gonna be very healthy. It's a delicious
No.
food. You're not supposed to eat that all the time. But
Now,
if it's more expensive, you stop. That's a good thing.
to show an example of that, guys, since I started eating healthier myself and I started actually working out, I went from 260 pounds down to 215. A lot of that is because of how I eat and this big guy right here, training with him. But you got to put some effort into it, though, guys. If you're already big, you got to put some effort into it. You know, you can't just eat healthy and think it's going to fix you. You got to do something about
I'm so glad that you felt in a sharing mood. I don't know if I can match any of that, but
it.
just I kind of
I
look like,
still love the kilt, man.
yeah, I love just being totally free and just
I
enjoying
love
life
the
at
kilt.
this
I love
point.
the jacket. It's awesome. Thank you for deciding to wear a little bit of leather.
Yeah, I
By
got
the
my
way,
bonnet on.
I got something to show you. This is going to be my next purchase for the show.
Hmm. Oh, that is a beaut. That is an absolute beaut.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to be wearing during the show,
You
just
should.
for right now.
You should wear what makes you feel comfortable and live the life that you're meant to. Food stamps and most of it has to go. And I support Trump and his dismantling of America because people have been spending way too much money on food because food has been way too expensive. When
Yeah,
food stamps is taken away, guess what? People are going to spend less money on food. They're gonna spend, and
and
you know
more
what?
money
Those
on farming.
prices are gonna drop. They're gonna plummet because we've been talking on this channel about how eggs are way too expensive. What happens when all these people on food stamps who are buying that as a staple
Hello,
suddenly have
everybody,
no
by the
money?
way.
If they have no money, the price of those eggs has to drop.
Yeah, because right now they're $8 a carton for six down here. But real quick, guys, I'd like to say hello. Thank you all for being here. Andre, I saw your question, man. Thank you for the support all the way from Romania. You're absolutely awesome. By the way, my co-host here is Ileana. This is a good friend of mine. He has his dog's name is Ileana, but I just found that out. But Ian is a veteran and a good friend of mine. Go check out his channel, NX Ileana. You know, don't ask me to spell it. But anyway, guys, thank you all so much for showing up. And thank you, amazing energetic Joshua. Yeah, we're in armor. Well, I'm in armor. But it's just a shtick. But honestly, guys, I do agree to an extent. But for those people, let's say, who can't go get for those people who can't go, say, let's go to a farm because it's too far away. You know, we need to start having community gardens again, guys.
Mhm.
Every 2, 3 blocks in a city have a lot designated specifically for a community garden. They do that stuff in India. They do that stuff in Indonesia. They do that stuff all over the world, even in Germany. Why can't we do it? You walk in, you grab a basket. You're not allowed to fill any more than what's in the basket, and you walk out. Boom, food. You can do that every day if you got it. Guys, and these Jin might not be coming in right now. She's dealing with some stuff, so I don't know if she's going to be here or not. But she's dealing with some problems herself, especially with her mom. Her mom's got pink eye, a UTI, and a urinary tract infection, plus a yeast infection. So yeah, she's dealing with a lot, and she might also she's back out of the rehab center for all of y'all that are fans. But that's the only reason why Jin ain't in here right now. She's dealing with some drama. But anyway, guys, I do agree. We need more farmers. We need more people that are willing to give food. My regards to Jin's mother. Thank you, amazing, energetic Joshua. God, that's a mouthful. I'm just gonna have to call you Joshua. But energetic Joshua. There we go. But anyway, we're the only thing I'm freaking out about is the civil unrest that's going to come from this. I'm worried about riots. Oh, Josh is your name. Okay, cool. I'll call you Josh. But I'm worried about riots. I'm worried about civil unrest, like I had said. I'm worried about people taking and straight up going nuts over this. This is going to be a problem for some places, man.
No, no. The,
You don't
I
see it happening?
I wanna believe in the American spirit because I'm an American and I'm a veteran. So
Yeah.
I never stop fighting for America. Even when I'm angry, I never stop fighting. When you were talking about civil unrest, I say, do you know the American people? Because I don't think the American people know that they're American. People talk about my accent all the time in my channel. They hate the fact that I have an English accent. But at least I know that I'm American. And you know the way I know I'm American? It's because I'm a fighter. When it came to my disability benefits, I'm fighting for it. When it comes to the way I want to live as an indigenous person who belongs on this land, I fight. So
Yeah.
when it comes to this food stamps thing, you think people are gonna fight and just riot and go loot these stores? They're not gonna do a damn thing. Why? Because they weren't spending that much on food to begin with. Even with the food stamps, people are starving themselves, literally starving themselves when they have food right there. And now they're going to have to make some hard decisions. You think that you need a community garden? I think you need personal garden. I think every single apartment building, every single house, every single, I don't even know if you live in a tent. Guess what? You're gonna have a tent with a little leaf that you
Hello,
can grow
Dante.
some spinach out of. Just
Yep.
a little seed of spinach, and you're gonna grow it yourself. Because that is what America should have been. We were never meant to live in cities. We were meant to live on our
Josh.
own land with our own farm. Everyone was supposed to live that way. Somehow we got suckered into this. No, but if you live in a neighborhood, it'll be so much safer. It has never been safer in a neighborhood. It is
No,
always safer to have your own place. And
there
then
is
if
nothing
you needed
safer.
to, you'd come into the city. But otherwise, you had your own place. Land is something that we need to talk about here. So I I want to feel the gloom and doom that you feel on this issue. I don't. I see optimism because if you are affected by this, guess what? You're going to be angry. And don't be angry at President Trump. Be angry at your boss, wherever you work, because you aren't being paid enough. Be angry at your landlord for charging way too much rent. Be angry at your local senator for not regulating petrol prices for your cars and be angry at other things that were draining your money that you couldn't afford food on your own.
I got you.
Don't be
So
angry at
yeah,
President Trump for waking you up with the fact that you did not have enough money. Americans are way too poor, and this is a wake up call. Do you remember that you're poor? Do you remember that you're poor? Because when you're starving, you know that you're poor. I am starving. I haven't eaten in days. I haven't eaten in days. You know what I eat? I eat one seed a day, a seed a day. That's it. That's how I know I am poor.
well, it
And
keeps
I
up your
asked for
fingers.
my disability benefits because I was sexually abused by the United States Air Force, and they just say, "We want to lose your paperwork for a year." That's how America wants to treat me. That was my wake up call that, you know what? America doesn't care about me, so I'm going to care about myself.
Exactly. And you see, I'm glad you had a differing opinion. This is the whole reason why I wanted to bring you on. Because I know we agree on many, many things, but I figured maybe you had a differing opinion this time, which I'm glad you did because we get to see it from the other side. You know, because
Call
me,
me a
me.
Republican, though.
Oh, by the way, Ian, our my friend Joshua is saying he's sorry that all that stuff happened to you. And he says he's going to try to connect to your channel as soon as the show's over.
I appreciate that, Joshua. I really do.
But guys, I do agree to an extent with taking down food stamps. I do have to say I do differ a little bit. Where am I stuck? There am I stuck. But I do disagree a little bit, but not much. You know,
Please,
um,
I want to know why because we don't have this conversation on the news, so we're going to have it on your channel.
exactly. I disagree a little bit, and here's what I disagree with. If you can physically go out and work, you're not labeled as mental and physically handicapped or something like that. If you can hold a job, by all means, go find you a job. You know, don't be lazy. Go do what you got to do. You don't need to be on food stamps. If you're like me and they're like, okay, well, you got a mental problem and you got a physical problem, you're too much of a liability. We're not going to hire you, period. And if we do hire you, you're going to work one day at 2 hours, a week. So it's not worth the pay. I could literally get more by selling artwork here on YouTube, you know, which, by the way, I've got some available that I'm going to be selling here soon. I'm working on a new dragon picture right now for anybody who's interested. But anyway, guys, so yeah, this is the differing of opinion. You got some people that can easily do like what Ian said. Senior citizens, disabled senior citizens who can't go out and shop for themselves. Sometimes they give that food stamp card to somebody to go shop for them. Now, what the other differing part of the opinion is, I think we should have better produce inside of our stores, and we should have better produce available to our public. We should screen those things like crazy because I mean, Order 65 makes no damn sense. And the reason why I say that is or Proposition 65, whatever it is. Proposition 65 makes no sense. And the reason why it doesn't make any sense to me is why sell food that you know, like you said, the garlic containing arsenic. Why sell that food? You know, when you don't sell something like haggis because it's got lungs and liver in it. You know, you won't sell that, but you'll sell me something that's grown in an arsenic field. You know, you won't sell me. You won't sell me a this specific cheese over here from Italy, which granted I don't want it for some reason. It's got maggots in it and people love it. I don't. But you won't sell that specific cheese to somebody who lives over here, even if that's part of their culture from their homeland. But you'll sell me a bag of moldy onions that possibly is radioactive. What the hell? I know, right? It's gross. What's up, Daheen? How you doing? Yeah, it's gross. That's Proposition 65.
That's commerce.
Huh?
You say it's gross.
That's common.
That's commerce. That's business. When you go for food, it's not for nutrition. It's just a transaction. You're just a customer. You're not a human being to these giant corporations. They don't care. They don't care that it gives you cancer. They don't care that it makes you sick. It doesn't matter that you're ripping families apart because of health bills that they're going to have to take from buying the smallest amount of food
available.
And that doesn't make sense. I want to buy food that makes sense, that's healthy, that I can guarantee isn't growing in a contaminated field. That takes money, and which is why I know that this fight is to you about food stamps. It has to go higher. It has to go higher to the root of the issue. The root of the issue is poverty in America.
Oh, brother, I'm only just starting.
A lack of compassion in America. You're talking about senior citizens. That has always been. I'm a Native American. I'm a First Nation, First People. So I understand respecting your elders. Respecting your elders means that you provide for them.
Exactly.
If they need to cross the street, you help them across the street. If they need something lifted, you help them lift it. If they need food, you buy the food and you carry it to them, because that is what you do as a young person, because you're going to get old and you're going to need some help too.
Yeah. Hang on, I'm trying to find something in here. All right. Here is one of my 9 charges as a Viking.
Mm-hmm.
To remember the respect that is due to great age. Respect your elders. That's exactly what that means. So with Vikings, what's up, Don? But with Vikings, you always have to be able to take and respect your elders. Why? Because those guys went out and fought. They were lucky to even make it home. And they lived to be 35, 40 years old when normally people died at 20 something in the Vikings. So respect is owed to great age. And if we're not taking care of our senior citizens, if we're not taking care of our elderly, if we're not taking care of our older veterans, especially our Vietnam veterans and our World War II veterans, they're the oldest ones that are left. And we got to take care of these guys, but nobody's willing to put forth the effort. Okay, see you later there, Dunheim. But anyway, it's just simply that it's a problem with, like you said, American culture at the moment. It boils down to American culture. We have gotten rid of the love for living off the land. We have gotten rid of the farmer. We've gotten rid of the backyard farm. We've gotten rid of so much stuff. Yo, what's up, Prime? But we've gotten rid of so much stuff that we're actually hurting ourselves right now. So that's even worse. We're actually driving ourselves further into a hole. And guys, we can't do that. We can't do that. Not if we want to stay a country. You know, um, pretty soon somebody's going to walk in here because we're so weak that only people like me and Ian would be willing to stand up, and a few others that I know of, quite a few actually. But we would be the only ones willing to stand up and go, all right, let's go. You know, and
I want to see that. I want to see that future. I want to see a future where Americans feel something again.
yeah,
I want to feel like I'm a part of something. I love going on Reddit for its fucking super secret messages, and the super secret message of today was, "Don't give up on us. Don't give up." I am at a crossroads where at the end of this week, I have to decide whether or not I'm going to stay in America or leave for Canada. And when you're talking about all of this and how America's being dismantled, why not stay and fight? Why not demand from American youth, you're going to learn how to take care of a kid someday? So here's what you're going to do. You're going to practice. You're going to go down to that retirement home, and I'm going to make it a requirement for you to graduate, because I'll have you repeat the 12th grade till you're 25 if you refuse to do this. I'm going to have you adopt them. I'm going to have you speak to them for at least 1 hour, and I'm going to ask for some money because you're going to buy them some food, cook that meal right in front of them, and then let them eat.
that's
That
not a bad idea.
requirement.
Teaching people how to take care of kids using a senior citizen in a nursing home. That's not a bad idea at all.
Really, I think it's a great one. I think it's the least that kids can do, because kids go through life without
I was done.
responsibility. You say, a service animal is good for broken people like a veteran like me. I say no. Dogs in general should be a requirement for the American family, because you need to learn how to take care of something. You need to learn that sometimes your paycheck is just cut in half or three quarters, because that's what I have to deal with. I am starving. That
Yeah.
girl is a fat white girl right now. She's a fat white girl with a juicy ass. That is my dog. That is literally my dog, because my dog eats. My dog eats three, four, 5 times a day, and she
That's
gets
my Shuck.
full
He eats
bowl,
three
a
times a day.
full bowl, while I eat one seed. Because you know what? I said I can survive off that. She can survive off that. She is 24/7 a security, like, police dog.
No, I got you. That's my
She
Shuck.
she's worth every single penny and every single food that I give her.
You see him? He lays in front of the door at all times.
That is just a beautiful dog, and it
Yeah.
loves you.
Oh, absolutely. I've raised him since he was literally a squealy bean at this big. I don't call them puppies when they're that little. I call them squealy beans because that's all they do is squeal and
I
waddle around and look like a bean.
that is the look of love. That is the look of love.
But our friend Prime has said to ask you if you're okay from yesterday. Apparently, you had a lot of bullies in your stream, man.
Eh, it's rough, because I'm a transgender person. I consider myself part of the transgender family, even though I will still rock a beard. I am keeping my male genitals, but my pronouns are they, them. And for me, I'm two spirit. I believe in a Native American lifestyle, so I will not be going through a sex change. I just embody the spirit. I let the universe speak to me. Sometimes, if I speak through as a female, and you can tell from my music that, I just put it into my music. But these are ancestral truths that I will not divorce from my life. So
Yep.
when people hop on my channel, they talk about, oh, you're a transgender person, you're gonna come into this bathroom. I don't want my kids seeing your junk. It's like your kids watch beheading videos. Your kids are having promiscuous sex, taking videos and photos and then spreading it around the school in order to be popular. Don't talk to me about how innocent your little kids are, because that's not the behavior of an angel. That's the behavior of a demon. And I'm going to call the children of America demons for all the hell that they put their parents through. That you can raise your kid to be a princess, you can teach her respect, but if somebody whispers in her ear, we would like you more popular if you just took your top off in the middle of class, for a laugh, and then let us take
Eventually,
pictures of
somebody's
it.
going to convince you, dude.
Because that's what kids are doing here. But
What's up,
they would
Axel?
rather attack transgender people for trying to use a bathroom as a bathroom.
And it's a bathroom. The Romans had public baths. The Japanese have public baths. The Germans have public baths. The English have public baths. And they're for everybody. And nobody has a problem there. It's just here in America that we're finding this issue that I found. Um, by the way, Prime also asked if you slept well last night. He's worried about you, man.
Thank you. No, I haven't been sleeping well. I've had a lot of nightmares because of my PTSD triggers, and all I can say is I've been asking for my benefits. I have a couple of petitions that I need people to sign because change.org/Eastern change.org/Kentucky needs you is the petition I have to help Eastern Kentucky people fight water contamination.
Yeah,
And I would love for people to sign that, because if you sign that, I can go there, because I would rather spend my time going there and helping other Americans through a crisis than having to deal with this. That's
is
me.
that me or you?
That's me.
Okay. I was about to say, is that me or you? What's going on here? Is my dad cooking again? But no, it's all good.
It's gonna happen. So I'll mute myself and you can talk for a bit.
All right. So while he's dealing with that fire alarm situation, guys, I'm just gonna sit here and say these few words. My friend Ian, he might be a part of the transgender community. Just like my friend from the Illuminati help desk, he's a little, could be what most people classify as a little freaky. But you know what? Let that freak flag fly, everybody. Show who you are. Don't be afraid of who you are and fight every day for what you love. Because my friend Ian does the same thing. He fights every single day for what he loves. He fights every single day for me and you. And he fights every day for this country. I am from Kentucky, born and raised in Ashland. All right. You're straight, Prime? That's cool. It doesn't matter if you're straight, gay, uh, as long as you don't sit there and sleep with dogs, I'm chill. Yeah, I support it in everything too. There's nothing wrong with supporting someone of a different gender. There's nothing wrong with supporting somebody of a different sexuality. Sexuality is your own thing. That is who you are. I mean, guys, I'm sitting here wearing armor and a t-shirt. Okay. I've got a weird, freaky way of living. And it's no different. What does OFC mean? I don't know what that means. But anyway, guys, just to let y'all know, there could be a chance that this new proposition, this new bill that's being passed, can cause some civil unrest. Yes, everyone is different. Oh, and it means, of course. Okay. But everyone is different. Everyone has their own way of life. And everyone, yeah, I get it now. But everyone has the right to choose that path and to be angry at somebody for using the bathroom. Guys, I get it. You don't want them going into kids' restrooms. Well, you know what? You label a family bathroom and then a women and a children. Okay? I mean, a women and a men's. But you label a family bathroom only. And then you make it to where anytime a kid has to go to the bathroom, mommy and daddy got to follow. You want to solve that problem? There you go. Problem solved. Thank you very much. I'm absolutely crazy. Yeah, I get you, man. I'm knucking butts. I'm a schizophrenic. I just try my best not to be. And the only reason why is because my schizophrenia causes me problems. But it only causes problems for me. But that's good enough. It causes some issues. But my friend Ian here, he's dealing with PTSD. That's a whole different beast. That is a monstrosity that no one should ever have to deal with. And I do apologize. What's up, INC Cheesy? How you doing? Clint, what did you eat for breakfast? I haven't eaten anything yet. I haven't eaten a daggum thing. I don't eat until at night. Yep, I don't eat but one meal a day right now. I just eat one big meal. I'm glad to see you're great, INC. Ian, how's that alarm system coming?
I finally cleared it.
All right, cool. But yeah, guys, we have gotten. I ate an egg sandwich. I got you, Prime. But yeah, guys, we have gotten this situation to where me and Ian have found solutions to it. So there should be no reason for civil unrest. There should be no reason for the American people to have a problem. All it takes is a simple transition. Go from food stamps to backyard gardens. Go from backyard gardens to growing a couple of livestock. Whatever happened to having some chickens and some rabbits and some, fresh vegetables in the backyard? Whatever happened to that? That was part of the American dream. My grandpa did it. His daddy did it. His daddy did it. His daddy owned a whole farm. And then his daddy was a railroad worker, which I actually put a video about that. I found a short that talks about Phineas Gage. I don't know if you know who this guy is, Ian. Phineas Gage was a man who worked for the railroad company. And on the bend in on a railroad track, they put at the peak of the bend a 4-foot long railroad spike. Now that is to prevent the train from pulling the tracks up. Well, Phineas Gage went to take and drive this in when somebody who had previously drilled the hole forgot a blasting cap down in it. So when he hit that blasting cap, it shot the rod up through the bottom of his chin and out the top of his head.
Oh no, that's the guy from the neurology Hall of Fame, because he could still think and respond, and it was if it went straight through a spot where it wouldn't affect
The
anything.
frontal lobe, right behind the eye. That's my ancestor. We Gage is just built a little different, guys. I'm going to tell you, I'm sorry for what happened. You deserve better and deserve it all. But sadly, people are freaks in this world, and not all of them, but some. And no one should do that.
Thank you,
Aw.
thank you so much, Prime. I appreciate that. My issue is that I need to live by myself. I need to just be a farmer. If America is saying stay with us, then give me a reason to stay, because
Mhm.
I'm sick and tired of pretending like I'm a city person. I wear this leather jacket because I'm a cool musician, but I'm not a city person. I'm a farm boy. I'm a farm boy. I love farming. I ran
Hell,
my
I'm a
own
country boy
farm.
and I wear leather. Said I'm a country boy and I wear leather.
You know how it is then.
Yeah, I just like it. Ain't never been a problem with some good old leather. But you're right. You're a farmer, man. You're an indigenous tribesman. You should be able to live the way your people did, off the land, in every way possible. Yeah, I wear anything. And to answer your question, INC, I do believe in Jesus Christ. I believe he was a real man. I believe he spread some wonderful words, but I am a pagan. So I'm a Viking pagan, also known as an Osseter. Oh, cool. Joshua, I mainly wear Viking clothes and what you see. Anyway, guys. So, yeah, getting back to that, you should be able to hunt whenever you want, fish whenever you want, build a home in any location you want, and do what you want, man. You are indigenous. You are the first nation. You are people that were here before we ever went, our land. No, not true. It's not our land, guys. We took it. We took it from a bunch of people who got really mad about it and deserve to be mad about it. I hate to say it, and I'm glad you're not one of them, but most of the Native Americans I have met are indigenous tribesmen are very racist because of how they've been treated. And I don't blame them. It's generational trauma, guys. But to sit here and expect someone who has been a wonderful person, who has done what he could to protect this world, not just this country, this world, because let's face it, America's kind of a world police now. But he's done what he could to protect all of us. And we are sitting back and letting people like Ian and other veterans, that we're letting them just fall apart, guys. We're not taking care of them. We're not doing what we're supposed to do. And this is what this show is about. This is the hour whenever I'm going to sit here and rant and rave at you guys and say, get on up and get up off your butt and try to do something. These petitions that Ian wants signed, guys, go find them, go sign them. I've signed every one of them I got my hands on. Left a voice message about it too.
I really do.
No problem, man. You asked me, I said yes, I will.
I mean, I talk about change.org/Kentucky needs you, but that could be any place. That could be any place in America where the government says you're not a real American if you don't live in a city. You're not a real American if you decide to live in the outskirts of town. You live in a rural community. You're not a real American because you're not buying into going to the movie theater and then shopping in a mall. You're not a real American. And these are Americans. If you live in Kentucky right now, you're an American. So I'm going to fight every single day to make sure that your water isn't contaminated because your state legislature is actually trying to contaminate your water. How messed up is that? You people have to live there. You think as a politician that you're above all of this. You can poison the water supply of Kentucky and that you won't have karmic retribution for that, that people won't vote you out of office. Well, at the very least, they should do that.
Yeah. And you see our friend Joshua or Josh right here, he is apparently living in Kentucky. So he's going to be looking for your petition to sign, as soon as he gets off of here. And INC,
Kentucky needs
thank
you.
you for saying the hat always completes my outfit. I try to make sure it does. I don't plan my outfit around my hat. I plan my hat around my outfit. So little backwards. But anyway, thank you for being here, man. And we'll see you next time. But talking to INC, by the way, me and you ain't done yet, Ian. There is so much on my mind because,
Well,
like,
we keep talking about how to make America great again. And I know that that slogan is used by him, but I'll use it too. There was a time in America where American families were together, that you raised
1920.
your kids with good morals. And right now, we don't have that conversation. We say, if you can have a kid, that's all it takes. It doesn't take a village to raise a kid. I disagree. I think that in order to have a better population, a more informed and educated American, you need to have the community involved in every step of the way.
I know my grandpa Gage. always talked about the 1920s. He said during the 1920s, every family in America had a home, every family in America had food, every family in America could go on vacations every year. If you were poor, it's because you were lazy back then. Why can't we get back to that? Why can't we get back to the golden years of the 1920s when we were taught civics? I'm not talking about the segregation and all the racist crap. That can go out the window for anybody who's going to start saying that crap. But what I am talking about is family is the most important. Working and being a productive member of society is the second most important. Community was the third most important. And that included church. Everybody went to church. Granted, I don't. My church is nature. So anytime I'm outside in the woods, I'm in church. You know, that's just how I am. Sorry, guys, I drank a purple Gatorade. So I kind of look like a blue tongue skink right now. Nah. But, you know, more laws, more restrictions, and government parenting. Actually, I'm talking about taking more government out. I'm talking about less government interference, more community, and more American people interference, less government. That's what I'm
Ian,
talking
I'm gonna answer Prime here. Ian, what happens in your everyday life? My everyday is when I wake up, I take my dog for a walk, and because I where I live, I have a PTS trigger just trying to exit my building. I come back here and I spend the entire day scrubbing and scouring my body because of my military sexual trauma. Because of the fact that United States Air Force sexually abused me, I don't feel clean. So it's OCD. It is terrible. I hit myself. I hurt myself. Just thinking about my PTSD and my military sexual trauma, I actually burned my hand literally 5 minutes ago, but I didn't want to take up the time and scream. So
about.
yeah, it's this level of self harm that happens because I am hurting all the time. I hurt all the time, and all I want is out. I want out. I want out of this
And
city. I want out of this state. I want out of an America that is abusive. And I know that you don't want more laws. I don't want more laws either. I just want responsibility. And in this community that we have to live in, we need to be responsible for each other. You think
exactly.
that health of your neighbor doesn't matter to you. And that's a huge issue because if your neighbor doesn't get enough orange juice or carrots, guess what happens? They become sick. And in a plague like COVID, if your neighbor is sick, you're sick. So we need to
Or
start
worse.
thinking about our neighbors as the family members you never knew you had. Thank you, Joshua. I appreciate that.
Thank you very much, Josh. And guys, you know, first off, scouring your skin every day, that explains why you got such great skin. But but guys, I had to make a joke real quick. Um, lighten the mood up. My fingers will work. But anyway, you know, guys, this is what some of our veterans go through on a daily basis. Even if they're not, you know, sexually traumatized, some of them still go through this every day. I know I had literally watched my grandfather one time sitting there totally spaced out and had his hand resting on a barbecue pit. I had to literally drop kick this man while he was in a flashback to snap him to. And even then, he did a fourth-degree burn on his hand. He had no fingerprints on his hand. And it's because, guys, our veterans go through these things. And it's not just our veterans. Some of our mentally handicapped people, such as myself, we go through these same problems. Guys, I overwork myself to the bone a lot of times. Why? Because I feel like I'm less of a man. I feel like I'm less of an American if I don't. And the reason being is because I'm a disabled American and I hate being disabled. I can't stand it. It's boring and it's driving me nuts. So I'm creating a marketplace and I'm creating a charity to try to make things better. And charity is what's going to help make mine and Ian's dreams a reality. Have my own issues, but I cannot imagine what some people go through. Yeah, man, Josh, everybody goes through something. Everybody's going through something. If you tell me you're an American and you're 100% mentally healthy, I'm going to kick you right in the junk because you're lying. You're lying at your teeth. There's always something going on. All of us got a problem now. Why? Because for the past, what, 2 generations, the past 100 years, we've been on a steady decline. We've been steadily getting away from the American way of life and into a party way of life. And this partying idea that has been pushed through to our younger generations has made them think, well, I could just go hustle and I ain't got to get a job. Guys, guess what happens then? Everybody from overseas is going to take the jobs. And every American is going to have to deal with the bullcrap that's going to follow. They're going to have to deal with the change in laws. And guys, a simple bit of charity, simple $2 a month from each American would help out every veteran. A simple $2 a month would help out a large percentage of the homeless population. You know, there's a reason why Switzerland, one of my ancestral homelands, has 80% in taxes. But nobody goes without food. Nobody goes without water. Nobody goes without shelter. Nobody goes without work. If you are disabled, you still get everything you need, including all of your medical for free. You still got to pay for your food,
That's
but
the
you get a
kind
food
of
voucher for
life
half.
that we need to live. We talk about other nations, but we can always do that here. We can always do that for each other. Now,
We can
I
always make it in
I
America.
want Americans to have more, and sometimes more may actually mean less. I would give up a California, Los Angeles apartment for a tent. Why? Because that tent would be in a place where I could see the night sky. I could see real stars. I could see a
Yeah,
meteor streaking by. I could see other planets. Things that don't mean
no
much to
problem.
other
You've never met in
people,
person.
but they mean to me. They mean something to me to see a world beyond this, to learn what real freedom is. Because freedom is not an apartment. An apartment is a cell. People in my chat were asking me, "Are you in prison?" They asked me that because all they could see was a white wall. They couldn't see the plants that I have here. They couldn't see my guitar. They couldn't see anything. All they saw was this is a person trapped in a room. But that's how I feel when I have PTSD from military sexual trauma, and it's too traumatizing to go outside. All I have are these walls, and I don't want that. I want my
And you
freedom.
see, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to do a 360 of my bedroom real fast, and I'm going to show you what I live in now compared to my RV and where I used to live, where I had access to all of that beautiful land that I used to have.
Mhm.
Now this is it. Just my boxes. I can't show you what's under the blanket. That's guns. But this is all I got now, guys. And yes, I'm still organizing. I'm still trying to find a place to put everything, you know? I went from this is what I have now.
I
You
need
know,
that as a
and
clip. I need
granted,
that as
yes,
a
I gotta
clip. Sorry about the chocolate sauce. I'm gonna play that during Pride. Sorry about the chocolate sauce.
yeah, sorry about the chocolate sauce. I had a mocha. I like my mocha. I like chocolate. Excuse me. But guys, we've got 5 minutes left. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a quick little question section where you guys get to ask Q and A's, and me or Ian will answer. All right. So fire away, guys. I see each person's freedom as their own ideas. Even though freedom is a term that has its own definition, it still has a different personal definition to each individual. Hello, Country Girl Sweet.
Hello, Country.
That's actually insightful.
That's very insightful. Thank you for sharing that, Joshua.
Yes, very much. That was that's brilliant. You know, I might have to use that.
You have
That's
good people on
brilliant.
your channel.
Well, I try to have good people on my channel. Sometimes I get trolls. You know, and welcome in Country Girl Sweet. How you doing? So yeah, guys, last few minutes, last 4 minutes, it's Q&A section. You know, we can stretch it out even further if people actually have questions. So let's go on ahead, see what the chat has to say. Until then, buddy, how you been today? I listened to your last few songs that you sent me.
Really? Thank you.
I've listened to all 5 of them since you sent me one.
Thank you. I enjoy making music. For me, it's just art therapy. It's a way to get out that energy, that anxiety, the depression, the rage, the loneliness. So I'm really grateful that I had a mother that put me through music lessons, and I'm an accomplished musician.
My stepmom says you sound like Prince.
Aww, thank
I
you.
said that's probably a compliment to him.
It's a huge compliment. Prince and I have always been kindred spirits through generations. So I'm glad that there was someone like that out there to inspire future generations.
And you see, I quite frankly, she hit the nail on the head with that one. I don't know why, but you're giving me a Viking vibe for real.
He
Smile, I am
is.
Viking.
He is.
In fact, Viking battle axe, Viking longsword. Only thing I'm trying to work on is get my breastplate and my shield and my leg guards. So yeah, I am Viking. Thank you.
He is the
Thank
cool.
you very much, Smile. I will upload a dance tribute to Prince later. All right, Josh. Thank you, man.
Oh, challenge accepted.
We
I like that.
got a
I
dance
like
battle. I
that.
love this. Oh, this is gonna be awesome. You know, I thought about doing that just move your body trend, you know, where everybody's like, just move your body, just dance, you know, they're just dancing around being silly because I
Would
can't
you
dance.
do a TikTok challenge?
Me?
Yeah. Do you know what TikTok is?
I got it.
I
The
think
bit.
you would be really, really good at TikTok dance challenges. I think that's your secret talent.
Prime, I have a bed. I have plenty of places to live. All I need is just a forest, and I've got a bed. So thank you for worrying about me, man. But when it comes down to me and my survival skills, I'm confident. Ian, on the other hand, surviving in LA is a little different, a little harder.
Well, I don't exactly have to fight off bears. I have to fight off cougars. And by
Yeah.
cougars, I mean the super horny women of Los Angeles who have groped and sexually assaulted me. You know, I never thought in my life I'd be in a position as a man or a transgender person in general who cannot be
Had
around
to
other
fight
people.
these women off the stick.
Yeah. And for
In
what? I
fact,
mean, this space makes women go crazy. This like. this beard, this hair, these eyes. What I mean, they make women go crazy. That's ridiculous.
Superior Aviation. This is my friend Ian. Thank you for showing up.
I
And does Ian like Star Wars? I don't know. Do you like Star Wars?
You asked that before.
I can't remember.
I haven't seen it in a while because I've just been really busy with my PTSD. But
I
I
got you.
want to, in a safe place, actually do a whole marathon because I need to watch the rise of Ray. I really, really. Oh my god! You have a lightsaber.
Yes, I do.
His metal ingredients must be off the chart.
I am a nerd.
Clearly,
I have a light,
that's a
I
good.
have a lightsaber and I have the sword from 300. Name one movie that we have both watched. I don't
You
know about that one. I don't know what Ian's watched.
John Carpenter's The Thing with Kurt Russell.
Of course, I'm a horror movie fanatic.
That is my go-to movie. As when people start talking about horror, I say you need to see this film because that film freaks me out to this day. It is the most horrific film I've ever witnessed ever.
And you see, you want to watch one that tops that? Go check out A24's The Void. It's on Tubi. Go check it out. It literally talks about him.
Actually, on
It's
my
body
list.
horror to the extreme.
It's
Hmm?
actually on my list. I
It's on your list.
I'm glad that you brought that up. That is on my list.
I knew you'd like it. I
I've
knew
been
you'd like
waiting
it.
for someone to tell me that it was a good movie because it seems like it was.
Yeah, it's a slow burner at first. It's
Mm-hmm.
a little slow, but when it gets started, oh shit, hold on to your seat because it's gonna reach out. And it's gonna be like, oh, you thought you've seen body horror before?
Well, at least I know what I'm going to do for the rest of the day. Then I'm going to watch.
Who's on the right, Keith? This is my buddy Ian. What's another good one? The Witch, a colonial folk tale. Have you ever seen that?
I wanted to. I prefer the one by M Night Shyamalan Ding Dong. M Night Shyamalan. I prefer The Village. The Village
The
is
Village is good,
is
but
good.
The Witch, a colonial folk tale. First off, 100% historically accurate on everything, down to the clothing, the way the house was made, everything. 100% historical accuracy. Second off, shows you why the pilgrims were terrified of what a witch can do. It's a psychological screw you over. Terrifier is a good horror movie. Yeah, we try to be Smile. Thank you so much for noticing that. I try to be one of the nicest guys on YouTube. They call me the Smiling Swamp Rat. Welcome into the show. But M. Night Shyamalan is a good director. I did like The Village. I got to see that one live in theaters. In fact, I'm kind of thinking about making one of those creature outfits using an actual hog skull. I think that would look really cool when you imagine just that.
That is strange. Wow.
They got some serious teeth. Them tusks, if they'd have got a hold of me, I'd have been done.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely. Oh, that one's trying to fall inside the skull. But yeah, they got some serious tusks on them. This was a 250-pound boar. And I killed him with a 22. 122 shot. Mm-hmm. All it takes is a little bit of knowledge. Know where to shoot. Guys, we've been going for an hour and 5 minutes now. So I think it's time to end the show for today. I've got some stuff I got to go do. and it takes a few minutes to get this armor off. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. Ian, thank you so much for being here. You're such a great friend. I can't wait to one day possibly meet you in real life. You know, it's going to be awesome when we do. So let's try to keep this, friendship going here, and let's try to make sure that we can make a change, man. I need a leader of my Pale Knights, and I think you're perfect. Because they handle veterans and first responders. So that would be your branch.
Oh, that's right. Change.org/Save American Veterans. You really want to help veterans? You really want to make a difference in the world? Stop giving your taxes to the VA, who are paying the veteran employees instead of paying veterans. Here's a tax
Yeah.
that goes directly to veterans. And it's 2 cents on the dollar. You won't even notice it.
Yep. And you see, the Pale chapter has got one member right now. He's a young man named Ghost, whose dad was a veteran. So that's our only member in that one. But we also have our friend Sean, or Ohan, who pops up on here. He's the leader of our Emerald Rose chapter, which deals with environmental conservation. So there's two of the things we've been talking about.
Well, I look forward to talking
Um,
to you again. Thank you so much for having me on your channel.
oh, no problem, man. Thank you so much for being here, man. Always enjoy it. You're definitely definitely fun. All right, guys, gotta go. It's always been great, and we'll see you next time. Ian's channel is NX Ileana. So we'll see you all next time. See you from the swamp, later from a gator. Love your mama, love your papa, love yourself. Be kind and always find a help. Or always find a way to help. See you guys next time. I can push the button.